It was with great sadness that we all heard of the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II on Thursday evening, after an afternoon of news coverage which suggested that her health had taken a significant turn for the worse. This is just a short tribute to the Queen, to reflect on and give thanks for her reign, her life of faith and Christ-like service. Archbishop Justin Welby said in a statement shortly after the announcement of her death on Thursday, "As we grieve together, we know that in losing our beloved Queen, we have lost a person whose steadfast loyalty, service and humility has helped us make sense of who we are through decades of extraordinary change in our world, nation and society. The Queen has been a constant in our nation's life and on the global stage for the past 70 years and will leave a huge hole in many people's lives. Over those years, she's earned the respect of even those who are not monarchists, as she dedicated her life to serving her country and the Commonwealth." In her first Christmas speech in 1952, the Queen asked the nation to pray for her at her coronation. "Pray for me on that day," she said. "Pray that God may give me wisdom and strength to carry out the solemn promises I shall be making, and that I may faithfully serve Him and you all the days of my life." And there's no doubt that with God's strength she kept that promise, faithfully serving God and her country until the day she died, despite some difficult and very challenging years. There were times, for example, when she was criticised for seeming remote and out of touch, particularly following the tragic death of Princess Diana in 1997, when many people wanted a greater sense of emotional involvement from their monarch. And other times when she was criticised for not bending to the culture of the day. Yet ironically, now it is her unwavering steadfastness and consistency that are remembered as some of her most valued qualities. Perhaps if people have recognised the shortcomings of those who are more easily swayed by the public opinions of the day. The Queen has been for many the one constant point in a world which has changed dramatically since she came to the throne in 1952, when the world was still recovering from the Second World War. From major advances in science and technology to changes in culture and society. Liz Truss, who the Queen welcomed as our new Prime Minister, the 15th during her time as Queen, just 2 days before she died, has described the Queen as the rock on which modern Britain was built. The Queen's head has been on coins, notes and stamps for as long as most of us can remember. And the national anthem has been God Save the Queen for so long that singing God Save the King now seems almost inconceivable. Words and phrases which have been used to describe the Queen in many tributes which have been paid to her include a remarkable leader, a mainstay in many of our lives, faithful, loyal, dignified and committed, amazing diligence, great grace, astute intelligence, deep humility, steadfastness in duty and care, integrity, stability, fidelity, driven by faith. Every Christmas day she reminded us of it, that she looked up to another crown, bent her knee to a greater sovereign. And the Queen's faith was a constant throughout her life, one which she frequently talked about in public, especially in her annual Christmas Day speeches, the watching of which has been a Christmas Day tradition for so many of us. And in these speeches, especially in more recent years, the Queen repeatedly testified publicly to how Jesus' teaching had shaped and inspired her personally, how it had been an anchor in her life, the bedrock of her faith, and served as her inner light, as she sought to live a life of service to and love for others. In her speech in 2000, for example, she said, "To many of us, our beliefs are of fundamental importance. For me, the teachings of Christ and my own personal accountability before God provide a framework in which I try to lead my life. I, like so many of you, have drawn great comfort in difficult times from Christ's word and example." And so today we mourn the death of the Queen, the sovereign of our state and servant of our nation, and servant of the King of Kings, who is now gone to be with forever. We pray for her family, for those mourning for the loss of their mother, grandmother and great-grandmother, and all those who are close to Her Majesty, who will be grieving her loss personally. And we think of our nation, many of whom have not known any other monarch other than Queen Elizabeth, and all the uncertainty and sense of unsettledness that her death brings. And we remember too His Majesty King Charles III, our new monarch, and we pray for him. I'd like to close this brief tribute to the Queen with a beautiful poem which has been shared widely on the internet, written by the English poet Joanne Boyle. Philip came to me today and said it was time to go. I looked at him and smiled as I whispered that, I know. I then turned and looked behind me and saw I was asleep. All my family were around me and I could hear them weep. I gently touched each shoulder with Philip by my side. Then I turned away and walked with my angel guide. Philip held my hand as he led the way to a world where kings and queens are monarchs every day. I was given a crown to wear, or a halo known by some. The difference is up here. They are worn by everyone. I felt a sense of peace. My reign had seen its end. 70 years I had served my country as the people's friend. Thank you for the years, for all your time and love. Now I am one of two again in our palace up above. So rest in His peace, Your Majesty, good and faithful servant, and rise in His glory. Amen.